So Coach Prime has finally came out and said it. They lied. They completely lied on Shedeur from start to finish for the whole draft process. He recently went on Asante Samuel's podcast. I'm glad to see that they're doing better. But he finally came out and said they made up all of these fake stories in order for Shedeur to slide. They were saying that he was answering FaceTimes and meetings. He came in with headphones on. He was unprepared. And if he came in so unprepared, Giants dropped the tape. I understand you won't do it because he doesn't necessarily play for y'all, but somebody leak it. We want to see. We want to see y'all fire off them questions and him not answer it. This is a guy who has had 6 different coordinators. This is a guy who's played on every single level of football up until this point, from prep school to 2 different colleges. It's not easy to adapt to different systems. You have to be prepared. So you're not going to do little small things like showing up late, having headphones on, not being able to answer questions. Like, it's just not going to happen. You've never heard any problems with this player until now. I'm just glad his father finally came out and said it. We see the proof is in the pudding. He's been in Cleveland doing his thing on and off the field. Joe Flacco, you a whole nother story. I ain't gonna get on you talking about you don't want to be a mentor. You still think it's 2013. What do y'all think? Do y'all think it's a little bit too late for Deion to be speaking on this? Or do you think he should have finally came out and said that they lied? Y'all comment down below.
Yeah. And you're not gonna catch them in no foolery and no mess. You're not gonna do that whatsoever. So when you sit up there and say something like he went in a meeting unprepared, like, dude, Shedeur Sanders, who's had 6 different coordinators, who has still functioned and went up, leveled up every time we brought somebody new in, and you're gonna tell me
every situation.
You're gonna tell me he had on headphones. Shedeur, anybody know my son? I understand he's a professional.
I'm talking parent Deion Sanders, a daddy, and you're seeing these different reports come out about your child every couple days. This is the young man you raised his entire life. Your son don't get in trouble. He don't be in tabloids. He don't be in drama. All he do is play the game you taught him to love as a young age.
They took him off. And they took him off because the owner said take him off.
The NFL didn't just fire Deion Sanders' son. They made him a target. Deion revealed the truth himself, exposing how this wasn't about missed plays, but a direct attack on his family name. Deion had just survived life-saving surgery when the NFL turned its attention to his sons. While he was fighting to recover, they were fighting for their careers. Shedeur Sanders came into the league with all eyes on him. At first, it looked promising, but then the momentum shifted. He got hurt in practice, missed time, and when he finally came back, the Browns threw him in with the 3rd string. He got crushed with 5 sacks in one game, including a brutal one that set the offense back over 30 yards. Now, what happened next exposed the setup. With 2 minutes left and Cleveland trailing, instead of letting Shedeur try and rally, they pulled him off the field. They put in Tyler Huntley, a quarterback projected not even to make the team. And when Huntley led the Browns to a last-minute win, it left Shedeur looking like the weak link. But that's not all. Word is that Shedeur begged to go back in, and the coach flat out refused.
Let me ask you something real quick. Imagine you spent your entire life building something beautiful. You poured every single drop of sweat, every sacrifice, every late night, every early morning into raising a son. Not just any son, a son who does everything right. He stays out of trouble. He keeps his head down. He works harder than anybody in the room. And then one day, out of nowhere, people who don't even know him start tearing him apart publicly, lying on him, destroying his name. Now tell me, how long could you stay quiet? Because Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, he's been watching. He's been silent. But today he said enough. And what he put out there sent shockwaves through the entire NFL world. And before we get into it, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now because we cover the real stories, the raw truth, and we never back down from holding people accountable. Let's get into it.
He stated, let me blow this all the way up. A lie does not care whom tells it. It has no conscience, no feelings, and no heart, but it does seek what? Attention. The only thing a lie does need is transportation. So, basically, judging off what Coach Prime is saying, let's say whoever told, well, we don't definitively know, so for legal purposes, I'm going to say Joe.
So if you've been following the Shedeur Sanders situation with the Cleveland Browns, you already know this story's been getting messier and messier by the day. For those just tuning in, here's the background. Reports started surfacing, narratives started spreading. Cleveland media began pushing this story that Shedeur Sanders, a young quarterback who literally grew up studying the game under a Hall of Fame father, allegedly doesn't know how to read defenses. Let that sink in for a second. This is the same young man who played college football at the highest level, the same quarterback who has film, actual real footage of him reading defenses, changing plays at the line, calling audibles, breaking down coverages in real time. We're not talking about rumors here. We're talking about documented, watchable, verifiable footage. And yet somehow, somebody in that Cleveland media circle decided to push a completely different story. Now, the big question everybody's asking, who is feeding this narrative? Who is the source? Who has enough access to the locker room and a reason to want Shedeur to look bad? We'll get to that. But first, let's talk about what Coach Prime just did. Now, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, he's not the type of man to go on a long public rant. He's calculated. He's intentional. Every word he puts out there has a purpose. And today, he went to Twitter and posted something that stopped people in their tracks. He said, and I want you to really hear this, a lie does not care who tells it. It has no conscience, no feelings, and no heart. But it does seek attention. The only thing a lie needs is transportation. Read that again. A lie needs transportation. That means somebody, a real person, made a choice to pick up that lie, carry it, and deliver it. And Coach Prime is making it crystal clear that he sees exactly what's happening. He's not naming names directly, but the message is loud. He also retweeted something about coaching philosophy, that the best coaches aren't obsessed with talent, they're obsessed with effort, attitude, and toughness, because when things get hard, that's what shows up. And then he hit them with one more. He posted about the power of saying no, how learning to say no early in life kept him out of foolishness, out of trouble, and away from situations that didn't serve where he was going. 3 posts, all within the same hour, all pointing in the same direction. Coach Prime is aware. Coach Prime is watching, and Coach Prime is not okay with what's being done to his son.
Is play the game you taught him to love as a young age. Now, you know your son capabilities on the football field, hence you was his coach primarily through his whole life. Now, you're not just a regular coach, you are a Hall of Fame football player. Now, I want y'all to put yourselves in Coach Prime's shoes. Now, you know damn well these people lying on your son.
Here's where I need y'all to step outside the sports conversation for just a moment, because this isn't just an NFL story. This is a father and son story. Think about what Deion Sanders has given to this game. Hall of Fame career, 2-sport professional athlete, one of the greatest defensive backs to ever lace up cleats. And after all of that, he dedicated the next chapter of his life to coaching, to teaching, to building young men. And his own son? He coached him, he mentored him, he watched him develop every single day. He knows Shedeur's game better than any reporter sitting behind a microphone ever could. So when these reports come out saying Shedeur can't read defenses, Deion Sanders isn't just hearing an attack on a player, he's hearing an attack on his coaching, on his legacy, on his son's name, on everything he poured into that young man from the time he could hold a football. Can you imagine sitting there day after day, watching false story after false story get published about your child? A child who has done nothing wrong? A child who has never been in tabloids, never been in drama, never given anybody a reason to come after him. That kind of pain doesn't go away when you turn off the TV. That follows you home. That sits with you at the dinner table. That wakes you up at 3 in the morning. And yet, Coach Prime has shown remarkable restraint. He hasn't exploded. He hasn't gone on a rampage. He's been measured, intentional, strategic. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's a man who knows exactly what he's doing and refuses to let emotion make his decisions for him. But make no mistake, through those tweets, he made sure the world knew he sees everything. Now, let's get into what everybody's really talking about. Jason Lloyd went on air and pushed this narrative about Shedeur. He even claimed he had text messages. He said he wasn't lying, but here's the thing. When he was pressed on who gave him that information, when he was pushed to name his source, he couldn't answer. And that tells you everything. Because here's how misinformation works. Somebody with inside access whispers something into the right ear. That person repeats it without verifying it. It gets published, it gets picked up, it gets shared 1,000 times. And by the time anybody thinks to question it, the damage is already done.
We have to get rid of Big Joe. Now, I'm not saying definitively he the one, but allegedly that's what they saying. He the one that's been leaking stuff to the media. That's what I'm hearing. Now, with that being said, right, we know that they signed a few offensive linemen. He has yet to make his announcement what he gonna do, which since to let me know, maybe Todd Monk and the coaching staff might got a whiff of Joe Patino potentially being locker room cancer.
There are people in that locker room environment who have consistently shown they are not in Shedeur's corner. And when you start connecting the dots, who has access, who has motive, who has a history of not being supportive, the picture starts getting very clear. Coach Prime already told you, the lie needed transportation. Somebody chose to be that transportation. And now the whole NFL world is watching to see what happens next. Let's give Shedeur Sanders his flowers right now. Because the mental toughness this young man has shown through all of this, it's remarkable. Think about what he's dealing with. He walks into a new city, a new team, a new locker room, and from day one, instead of getting a fair shot, instead of getting the benefit of the doubt that every other rookie quarterback gets, he's walking into a media firestorm that is working against him before he even takes a single regular season snap. And through all of it, he hasn't crashed out, he hasn't gone on social media and blasted anybody, he hasn't created drama. He's shown up, he's put his head down, he's done the work. That's not just talent, that's character. That's a young man who was raised right, and it shows. This situation is bigger than Shedeur Sanders. This is bigger than the Cleveland Browns. What we're watching right now is a test of how the NFL media treats young black quarterbacks, how narratives get manufactured, how access journalism can be weaponized to destroy a player's reputation before his career even truly begins. And thankfully, people are waking up. Former players are speaking up. Film analysts are going back to the tape and proving what we already knew. Shedeur Sanders can read defenses. The evidence is right there for anyone willing to look honestly. The truth always comes out. It might take time, but it comes out. And Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, made sure today that the world knows he's not going to let his son's name be dragged through the mud without saying something. At the end of the day, what we witnessed today from Deion Sanders was the quiet roar of a father who loves his son more than anything. A man who has earned every right to stand up and say, "You will not lie on my child." The Cleveland media better understand something. The Sanders family didn't get to where they are by being soft. They didn't build what they've built by letting people walk over them. They are patient, they are strategic, and they are watching every single move. Shedeur Sanders is going to get his opportunity, and when he does, everything they said about him is going to look very foolish. Stay locked in, stay tuned, because this story is far from over. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a single update, because trust me, things are about to get very interesting in Cleveland. Until next time, shake the haters off. We out.